Hi everyone, I'm Dara. Thanks for clicking on my video. I just finished making this advent calendar and I'm going to spend the next 24 days releasing a video of each of the decorations that I'm going to be making to count down to Christmas. So I haven't made the decorations yet and I don't know how they're going to turn out, but I think it's going to be fun and exciting and I hope you'll join me between now and the 24th. I made a video about how I made this calendar, so if you'd like to see how I did it, keep watching and I'll show you. I had this idea that I wanted to make an advent calendar, and I got started last year. I got 2 panels sewn together, and then I started to cut out the triangles for my Christmas tree, and then I didn't like it. So it's been put away actually for 2 Christmases. So this Christmas, I'm gonna try to do. I was really inspired by the quilt I saw at the Royal Ontario Museum, the homespun quilt. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be so cute to have like a natural colored advent calendar with some like muted dark color, decorations to put on the Christmas tree. So right now what I want to do is just assess how much fabric I have to work with. Okay, I think I have enough to get, I'm going to make the advent calendar the size of this table. It's going to be a big wall hanging. And I think I have enough to get 3 panels here and then piece of this last light color panel here and then make a big triangle to about here and then pockets to hold the decorations there. So I think that the pockets I can make the pockets out of all these little pieces, offcuts. And my big triangle Christmas tree is going to be out of the contrasting natural color. So I'm really happy that my new plan is looking like I have enough fabric for it. So let's get started. Okay, so that is my base put together. I have straight stitched on either side of my seam and zigzagged 1 turnover on the all around the outside. And believe it or not, I've pressed and starched it, but I know from working with this denim before that this is going to be an ongoing problem. Like it just doesn't get flat. And I'm going to say that that's part of its charm. So now I can't avoid it any longer. I have to figure out my pockets because however my pockets are going to go is how big my tree can be. I'm going to do some math, but I'm going to do it off camera. Okay, so I think I want my pockets to be about 3 3/4 wide, just shy of 4. And then that means I need 3 rows, and because this right here is 32 inches. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so it's actually just over 33, but if I go zigzag to zigzag, it's 32.5. So I could go exactly 4 inches, but maybe I should go exactly 4 inches. So I have this offcut piece, which is already finished on 2 sides. So I'm thinking a row of 8 there. And then I have this piece, which is long enough. So I'm going to make 3 rows of pockets. Not going to sew them on because I need to figure out my numbers. this is probably the hardest part, is going to be the hardest part of the calendar, and that's to get numbers onto these pouches. So I've printed out some kind of plain numbers. The font size was 120, and I think this is going to be okay. And my tops of my pockets are not straight. So I'm going to just use the length of my ruler and as to try and just get the bottoms aligned. And I'm going to, where's my stuff? Oh, here it is. I've got this kind of shoelace stuff that came in a packet of a variety pack of ribbon from Michael's that I bought years ago. And here's my old friend, which, you know, I hate. Let's see if I can get something transferred on in terms of a dent. Kind of did it. So I'm not going to use the base of the one. I'm just going to use a plain one and hope that that chalk comes off. So now, okay, I've done a little test here so I can melt my end. Oh, it's going. Okay, so I've switched to this glue here and it is going on much nicer. So why don't I do the number 7 on camera? Show you what I mean. I've also switched to white chalk so that if it doesn't completely come off, it won't be as visible. There, that's so much easier. So I'm gonna finish my 6 and 8 and then let the whole row dry, and then I'll do my sewing all at the same time. Okay, my cord is glued down. It's the next day and these 2 rows have been drying overnight. I did have to use both the lighter and the darker, but I think it blends in okay. And then I had to actually alternate light and dark on the last row because I thought I might have enough of this color, but I realized when I got here that I didn't. The glue's good for a while, but I don't trust it to hold for the long term. Okay, so that's done. I've got some that are a little wonky, but I'm gonna keep going. That one's fair. The 3s were hard. And I did switch to my machine for these last rows because it was taking a long time, and it goes, the denim is really thick. Okay, I've got my pouches sewn on, and I didn't realize that I missed sewing on my one here for December the 21st. So I'm going to try and wrestle that on just by reaching in behind the pocket. Okay, so this is what I'm doing right now. I've made some just paper cutouts. I've from some scrapbooking paper that I had, and they're approximately the right size to fit in the pockets. This is just a general idea, because my next thing is I want to figure out how the decorations that are going to be stored in here are going to get affixed to the tree. And I want it to be in like a triangle shape. And I'm kind of working my way towards rows of decorations as opposed to haphazardly placed on the tree. Okay, I'm going to keep playing with it. Okay, so this is what I have. 7, 5, 4, 4, 3, and then a spot at the top for a star. So I think that's going to invoke enough of a triangle shape, and it leaves me a room for a little trunk, and I'm just going to go straight triangle. This is on the bias here, so, you know, we're gonna have some movement. But I think that'll fit. Okay, good. So now it's time to test those decorations again. All right, so I've got 6, 6, 5, 3, 3. And I know I'm going to be using buttons and loops to hang the decorations. Okay, you can't see my white chalk X's, but what I've done essentially is done some measuring, and I've drawn lines every 6 inches on my tree, and then I've used my little schematic. So I need 6 on this row, 6 on this row, 5 on that row, etc., and just sort of evenly space them based on the measurement of each row. So now I'm gonna sew buttons on each of these. Okay, I've got my buttons on, and for the very top, a small piece of Velcro. And now I think I'm going to interface the back to just give me a little bit more body on my Christmas tree thing. Okay, so I'm thinking that I want something on the back to stabilize this, and I do have some iron-on interfacing. I'm trying to plan out my order of operations because I find with iron-on interfacing, you still need some stitching to keep it attached. So for this interfacing, you know, the stitching to keep the tree on the calendar will keep it, keep the interfacing locked in. But then I was thinking, well, maybe I should have something on the back before I sew the tree on so that I can have stitching to sew my backing on. And I was thinking about interfacing and then a fabric backing. And I remembered that I still have a portion of my daughter's blind. So I'm just gonna test it out here. And it is almost exactly the right size for this portion. And I don't think it's going to be big enough for that. So maybe I should cut it. So I'm just moving everything out of my way because, you know, that would be just so heartbreaking if I snipped my actual project while I was trimming this off. Okay, well, I can put this away and use the stiff interfacing on this part and use the blind for this part. Okay, I'm getting close to being finished. Before I deal with these raw edges, I want to check to see if this is going to hang okay. So I've got a curtain rod upstairs that I'm using to hang my crazy quilt, and I'm going to use that spot to hang this advent calendar. And I know the curtain rod has a support in the middle, so I've made 2 sleeves just from offcuts, finish the edges, and I'm going to line them up approximately in the middle of the top of the back of my calendar, leave this spot here for the middle support of my curtain rod, and then go, actually I'm going to pin it on and then go give it a try before I sew them down. Oh my gosh, I think I'm done. So I'll just show the hanging sleeve. When I pinned it on, I pinned it kind of in the middle, but then that makes it droop a little bit. So I've made sure it's flush with the end and the top. Hopefully that's going to work. And then I found I couldn't really tolerate the raw edges here, so I found this seam binding and I sewed it on. So that is giving me extra rows of stitching, but they're not visible from any distance. Okay, I'm so excited. Okay, here we go. There is my advent calendar. Now I don't have anything in the pockets yet. And I do have some puckers that I wish I didn't have, but I'm going to keep going. I think it's really pretty. I love the natural colors. Okay, so I've just gone and hung up my calendar upstairs, and I thought I would get together all my supplies that I think I might need to make my 24 decorations and show you guys what I'm hoping for is some inspiration when I see everything out here. So I've got some Christmas buttons, some bells, some regular buttons, and then these are just my spare buttons. I thrifted these stuffed animals last week. I thought maybe I can use the fur for like making my own little thing. I've also got this fleece, lots of ribbon and trim in like neutral colors from my junk journal stash. Some fabrics that I think might be along the color scheme. This is a hanky that I thrifted a long time ago. And you know, these might be okay. My felt leftover felt. It's not really a collection, it's what I haven't been able to throw out. My embroidery floss. And I'm hoping for some inspiration. Other than a star at the top of the tree, I don't know what I want to make yet. But we'll see how it goes. If you stayed till the end of the video, thank you for watching. And I'm really excited about making all the little decorations to go in these pockets. And I have this sort of vision that I want like raw edges and down home looking little pieces to put on here. I haven't made anything yet. This is the first time I'm going to be posting something that's in progress, and I don't know how it's going to look at the end. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. So I hope you'll join me between now and the 24th to see what I make to put up on this calendar for the countdown to Christmas. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next video.